Hello, and welcome to Third Act Film. Today, we're discussing what we think may save the DC, whatever it's called. Here with me is Todd James.
Hello.
And I'm James Forbes.
Hello, James.
Alright, so let me kick off, alright?
Please do.
Can we please just have a good name for the overarching, multi-layered story that are based off DC Comics and have been turned into movie versions? Because I don't like DC CU and I don't like DC EU. It's not
What about just DCU?
Yeah, what's wrong with DCU?
Why can't the D and DC stand for DC?
So it would be DCU, Detective Comics, Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. Shall
we use that for today's
the DCU? Sure thing.
Okay.
It makes the most sense to me.
Okay. Well, that's my first one. All right, your next one. That was quick.
Also, but I know that there are people who feel like it doesn't need saving, if you like. But if you actually look at it from a well-rounded point of view, that it's not doing what it should be doing at the moment.
Like we did I put a link here, or I'll probably forget.
That's fine.
We did a video last year trying to predict from 2016, the year that we're currently recording, what film would cross would join the Billionaires Club, and even another video link here, which I probably forgot, that which film could ever take over Avatar's 2.7 billion record.
And even another video saying what is going to be the most successful film, superhero film.
We talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
And in all three of these videos, we were like, Batman v Superman, go on, kill it.
Yeah.
Go on, kill it. But no.
It just didn't. And linking into my first point,
go for it.
Make it good.
But please don't just say that. Come on, man. Are you... Oh, wow. God.
So, there are franchises where even with bad single installments, they continue to go. Transformers X-Men being another one. To make a universe where we're going to be watching 2-3 of these films a year, to ask the reason people keep going back to Transformers is that by the time 3 years have gone by, you're like, oh, I think I like that. Like, you've watched it on TV and you've been like, oh, that scene was good at the cinema, wasn't it? You know, the hatred of it isn't fresh in your mind. If you're going back 6 months later to watch another film consistently 2-3 times a year, you need it to be good. And I know that this is a huge generalization, but averaging out to make them... you're making this many films so far. I know there's only been 2, but to have both of them be... for one of them to be fine and one of them to be incredibly poor... that is a very bad batting average.
And especially, Man of Steel is Superman, your lead. This is the Iron Man.
Yeah.
You kickstarted with him and did an okay film. And then with Batman v Superman, which some people for some reason like and other people don't like. You're entitled to your opinion, but you're also wrong. But with Batman v Superman not being so good, with Batman in it,
those are your 2 trump cards,
and you've wasted it.
Yeah,
we didn't. You didn't get. I get the point. They don't want to be Marvel. They don't want to start it slow. They've got a lot of catching up to do. So let's go straight into the big film. But maybe you shouldn't have. You know what would have been a big film? Another Batman. The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises both made over $1 billion. A Batman film with Ben Affleck done well would have made over $1 billion. People love Batman. It's so simple. If they had done a Batman film instead of this, they could have spent less money and made more, and then do the Batman v Superman straight afterwards.
Yeah, it's and the thing is as well, people forgive Marvel films when they're not as good because there is such a track record. Yeah. If Man of Steel
was good
and Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad were all good, if Wonder Woman comes out and it's universally accepted as being hideous garbage, people would still go to Justice League. If Wonder Woman now sucks and Suicide Squad is bad, Justice League, obviously it's still going to be a hit.
How many bad films do you think the DC could do in a row? I mean,
I think I feel like Suicide Squad is kind of inconsequential because it's so far removed.
Yeah.
So I feel like if Wonder Woman and Justice League are both Batman v Superman level bad, it's over. It's reboot time.
It's not necessarily.
It's reboot time.
Get the reboot in.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that Batman v Superman. Even if Batman v Superman, even if I felt it was average, it still would have been a failure because it's Batman v Superman. It's the two biggest titans ever, and I feel as though if they are only able to release average films and films that have no impact on its audience, I think by the time Justice League, if that is just average, people will start being like, what's the point?
That's their only big card that they have left. They had Superman, it didn't really work out. They had Batman.
Well, they still got they got the Batman card.
True.
They haven't released the date for the solo Batman.
True.
It'll probably be as soon as everyone's given up hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
He may be the hero that we need.
Hello, not the hero we deserve. Okay, James, what do you got for that? I know that was a bit general, but it's true.
Super general.
You just need to sort it out.
Segueing from general,
right?
Superman. Why don't he be Superman?
Right.
Okay, so I think I've spoken to you in the past about this, but for some reason there's this hatred toward. Well, I feel so. I'm probably being dumb, but there's this hatred towards Superman being too much of a goody two shoes, always doing the right thing.
Like if he sees a cat in a tree and an old lady, he's just going to leave it there.
Yeah. Like, oh, he's so good. He's such a good guy all the time. That's boring. We want a gritty, real life, like, oh, Superman. Oh, the world, the weight of the world. No, come on, man. Like, there are characters who can be consistently good, and the example I'm going to use is Captain America, who can always do the right thing regardless of what the rest of the world is saying. And just be that really annoying guy who does the right thing. Mm-hmm. What is wrong with that? And what they don't understand is that in order for Batman to work, you need a Superman. In order, it's these characters aren't secular. They aren't singular.
Singular, right? Okay.
They're not singular. They are bouncing off each other. If you have a Superman who, by every means possible, will do the right thing, then it allows for a Batman to be more interesting when he can show, you know what, there is another way. And for Superman still not to go down that path. But what I feel as though that they really need is to save it with the main guy and to have someone who actually likes Superman. I mean, we did have Superman Returns, which, not so great. And that was someone who liked it.
It's better than Batman v Superman.
Yeah, well, that's, so if we had someone who actually liked Superman, write a Superman story, just give it one, let that be the last film and say, all right, this is all or nothing, guys. We're going to do Superman like Superman, see what people say. And then I think it would work.
Yes, I too think this. Yeah. There was a moment, not meaning to... It's hard not to keep comparing to Marvel. It is hard, especially with this analogy with Captain America. But there's a moment in Avengers Age of Ultron when Tony Stark is like, okay, we're going to do this. It's going to kill a lot of people, but it'll be fine. And Captain America's like, no. Yeah. No, we're not going to let a single person die.
It's that refusal, isn't it?
Yeah, and that moment of like, he's right. And I got behind him. In that moment, you're like, yes. Yes! Yeah. and that should be Superman.
Seeing the impossible and facing it like straight in the eyes. You don't get any of that with Superman. He charges into... spoilers for Batman v Superman. He charges into Doomsday as some sort of big sacrifice, but there was no immediate threat for him to harm anyone.
They're on an abandoned island, after all.
Yeah, which they made very clear. There was no just weight to it. It's just, he's a bit mopey. He saves the world sometimes to a bunch of people we don't even know, and then he kills himself idiotically.
He should have just been like, here, Wonder Woman, I'll hold that lasso. You take this spear.
Yeah.
Or just thrown it. Just straight up thrown it.
Your next point, please.
Okay, this is kind of a 2-in-1. Make it less predictable.
Oh.
Now this was it. It was things were made a lot more predictable by a trailer that showed us everything, and then it didn't become predict. It became no.
Yeah. It was weird. The last trailer that they released was almost beat for beat the entire film.
Well, the second trailer showed us the entire film.
Yeah.
Then the third trailer just filled in the gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was literally, it showed the opening, it showed the middle, and then it showed the end.
Yeah.
But this isn't even a discussion of trailers. This is a discussion of everything we thought would happen happened. It all went. There were no surprises. Everything went exactly as it was meant to.
Yeah.
No, there was maybe one surprise when that building blew up. When the guy in the wheelchair brought the bomb in.
Oh yeah.
That was a little bit surprising. I'd already lost hope by then, to be fair. But as soon as you hear Doomsday, you're like, death of Superman.
Yeah.
Superman dies. That's not a shock now.
No.
Batman v Superman, who's going to win? Everyone who's ever been into comics is like, well, I think Batman will win because Batman wins the fight.
Yeah.
It is a weird balance. People saying, "Oh, stick to the comics; it'll be better," and people being like, "Give us surprises. We want surprise."
Yeah.
But in this case,
adapt.
There needs to be something to make me be like, "I did not see that coming."
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah.
I just feel like that. I'm not talking huge twists. I'm just talking. I want to be surprised once. I don't want to go in and be like, "Well, that happened exactly as expected."
Yeah. Something I think would help with that.
Yeah.
Is my next point. Good directors.
Right.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, though, it's a bit unfair to say we've had 2 films and with this new DCU, and both have been from the same director. We're getting a chance with David Ayer for Suicide Squad, which I watched End of Watch recently. I think his debut film, perhaps, or one of his first.
It was certainly one of his earlier films, yeah.
Which was excellent, and I've seen Fury, which was excellent. So it looks like they've done a good job there. Whether or not the rest of the director team that they have, I forget the names, but for the rest of the director team, if they're all able to hold up their end and then perhaps getting in someone new. I mean, we sound really negative about all of this, definitely. And it isn't that, I don't want to come off too negative. It's just that I do actually want good stories, and I do want to see Batman and Superman and all of the Justice League done justice. Oh my god.
Dawn of Justice.
And we keep on comparing to Marvel, but when we have the Marvel films come on, we are always so excited to see them.
Yeah.
And they all, their hit ratio is probably 7 out of 10 of them are good now.
Yeah, maybe even more.
Maybe more than that, but their hit ratio is good, so I know what I'm in for. I know I'm going to have an interesting story with some sort of twist towards the end, with interesting characters. And I can, when watching Captain America Civil War, when these characters were talking to each other and they were able to kind of have this dialogue that is impossible in any film, because we have seen them in, some of them we've seen in 6 films, 6 films together, that they're able to build this rapport between each other. I want to get to that point with Batman and Superman and knowing these characters and the movie versions of it.
Imagine doubling the amount of films you get to do that in a year.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah. Every month I'd be like, all right, I'm going to watch Marvel. That was awesome. I'm going to watch DC. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
It halves the time you have to wait for a big cool thing.
Yeah. What's your next suggestion?
They need to get their own flaws.
Say again? Flaws?
FLAWS. Flaws.
All right.
So the biggest thing people say about modern films is that there's too much setup, or cinematic universe films. The other thing that gets said a lot about Marvel is that the villains aren't that good.
Yeah.
I think that is over exaggerated, but anyway. Something that makes I almost think this is almost still done on purpose, because then there's always that chance that we can talk about it and be like, oh, well, they can still make villains. Oh, look, this new guy's been cast. Maybe this... It keeps conversation going. When they need to have their own talking point almost. Rather, like, focus on something that they can be like, well, this is an area that we can, make the fans keep talking about this. I know I'm not making sense now.
So you're saying you want everything good except for one thing to distract us from the fact that everything isn't actually that great?
Maybe.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So you just want... So like how Marvel doesn't have the best villains, on top of having that as a flaw, you want to see progress for them working towards fixing it. So then I'm like, oh, hopefully this villain will be good.
Sure.
This is a weird suggestion. So your suggestion for saving the DCU is for them to have more flaws, please. Or at least one defining flaw.
Yeah. Get your own kind of consistent... I guess it's more about consistency.
Okay.
Like, bring up that consistency.
Yeah.
I'm not making any sense now.
Let's
Even to myself, I'm not understanding what I'm saying anymore.
Yeah. My next suggestion is possibly a way for the DCU to overtake Marvel. And
Hello.
Kind of segueing off your flaws point, is what are some of the problems with the Marvel Cinematic Universe that people want to see more, and what can DC do to do that and say, hey guys, we hear you, we're doing it with our stuff. That's it's competition, isn't it? What can you do better? Now, one of the flaws is villains, and DCU have some, the DC verse has some of the best villains that ever have been.
Sure.
They need to put that at the forefront. I think Suicide Squad will be the first step for that, to be like, hey guys, remember we have the best villains. That is one of our strengths. Especially when we may be doing some videos in the future about Batman and the Superman solo films, but when those films come to fruition, if we can get some of the best villains out there, that it's less of a Batman film and more of a Joker film almost.
Like two leads sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a two lead type thing. Whilst with the Marvel films, typically the villain lead isn't as big or as popular.
Yeah.
And they kind of just disappear. DC have the advantage to have them almost steal the show,
Yeah, true.
Another problem with the MCU is their connectivity. All of their properties are supposed to be set in the same world.
Yeah.
However, they kind of refuse to acknowledge, especially on the movie side, they refuse to acknowledge any of the work done on the TV side. So your Daredevil, your Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Peggy Carter, a lot of those don't get any mention. I guess Peggy Carter, she's been featured in, but they don't get any mention of that. The DC world, there is a TV Supergirl, Arrow, Flash. They've even got Legends of Tomorrow. That's 4, and they were doing well. There's a bit of controversy at the moment with all the season finales for all these shows not being so great, but there is an opportunity to possibly, potentially restart all of these TV verses, as known as the Arrowverse, start it again, set in the same world as the movie verse, and trying that experiment of actually saying, hey, there's a guy that's doing this, hey, there's these people that's doing that, and saying, hey, Marvel has failed you on this, but we ain't. We got this.
No.
Damn it!
So a film that people think was already overstuffed and too muddled, do you think they should put more into that?
Oh.
And also, something that is already way too confusing for people who aren't really familiar with comic books. You want to
add in TV stuff.
Add in like alternate universe stuff. And something that was already not popular enough, you want to put in more things that are even less popular. That's going to squeeze the demographic even smaller.
Oh.
This from the person who said that they should focus on flaws.
Maybe this problem of fixing or saving the DCU is harder than it seems.
You see, that's why I said just make it good.
So to recap, call it DCU.
Perfect. That's a good start.
And make it good. Those are our suggestions, really.
Again.
Make it good.
Yeah, what a productive session.
I feel like, but I think that is a serious point though. That is kind of the opinion of all of us. We don't know how. We don't have the skills to. We see what's good. We see what's bad. Please do what was good. You had The Dark Knight. You had Dark Knight Rises for some people. You had those films. They were good. Just do that again. No? Why can't they?
How hard can it be, basically?
Just call them up. Say, yeah, all the people who work tonight, you want to work on doing the same thing again. Just a different villain.
Yeah.
Well, on that bombshell, I think we'll end. I think that was almost our truest episode yet.
Yeah. We cut right to the core of me, Baxter.
Yeah. Well, if you've got any suggestions for how you would like to see the DCCU saved, do let us know in the comments below.
Or maybe you think it's in perfect condition, nothing needs to change.
Yeah.
And they should carry on and things will turn around.
Yeah, we're totally open to debate on this because,
Clearly we don't know.
I've been James Forbes.
I've been Todd James.
Bye.
Oh no, it's raining. like, oh no, my powers. Yeah.
No, fire, please. And the Cat Sparrows are like, hold it. Hold it.
Only a super powerful character wearing the Infinity Gauntlet would come and say, oh, it's Adam Warlock.